Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon has the potential to rival the Marvel, DC, and Star Wars universes, but what do we know about it so far? Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Rebel Moon. This is episode 4, and today we shall be looking at the behind the scenes of Zack Snyder's two-part space epic Rebel Moon that is set to be released in 2023 on Netflix. So in the background, we will have all the behind the scenes footage and images that Zack Snyder or people on set have released. So whilst you look at that, I will be talking about how and why Rebel Moon could rival cinematic universes such as Marvel and Star Wars. Now first of all, Zack Snyder is known for his visuals, and that is something he is bringing to Rebel Moon. Slow motion, epic fight scenes, and an intelligent use of camera work will place Rebel Moon on the map of sci-fi adventures. Snyder's also at his creative best when he isn't held back by studios, and Netflix is giving him full reign over his two-part story, which could evolve into a huge cinematic universe if the two films are successful. And it seems that Netflix already seem to believe that it will be successful, with future spin-offs being looked at already. Like I said, Snyder is at his creative best when he is allowed to create the story he wants to make. Arguably, his two best films to date are when the studio doesn't get involved, those being Man of Steel and the Snyder Cut. Speaking of Man of Steel, Rebel Moon is described to be the first 20 minutes of Man of Steel that are set on Krypton on steroids. Now the first 20 minutes on Krypton were epic on their own, and really showed a unique version of Superman's home planet. So for that to be the tone for Rebel Moon, but on steroids, means that we are in for a real treat. Not only that, but the composer of Rebel Moon is Tom Holkenborg, also known as Junkie XL. He's best known for Mad Max Fury Road and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Both scores were not only epic, but also had some very powerful, emotional pieces of music in them. So we are very lucky to have such a talented composer on board for Rebel Moon. A lot of the best moments in the Snyder Cut were completely lifted by Junkie XL's score, and for me, a score for a movie can influence my overall enjoyment of that film, and I'm sure the theme for Rebel Moon will be incredible. You also need to look at the cast. We have names like Sir Anthony Hopkins, Djimon Hounsou, Sophia Boutella, Ray Fisher, and even Ray Porter, all being a part of Rebel Moon. So you have a large range of talented actors with different backgrounds and different skill sets, which will really allow the characters to come to life in unique ways. Rebel Moon has finally completed production, filming both movies back to back, just like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, which is efficient and will also allow both films to feel completely connected. Part 1 will be released in 2023 with no precise release date announced as of yet, but personally I believe we should be seeing it released closer towards the end of the year, in the last 2 quarters of 2023. As for Part 2, that is currently unknown. I don't know if they're going to release them both together or slightly staggered, or even a year apart like Infinity War and Endgame did. Personally, I think they should do a staggered release, with Part 1 being released at least a few months before Part 2, whilst also building enough hype for Part 2, but not leaving a big enough gap that restricts them from building on the hype from the first movie. I think it really worked for Stranger Things Season 4, which I know was a series, but every episode was very long, and the finale was pretty much a full movie. Having a gap between the majority of the series and the finale allowed fans to create theories as to what they think will happen in the final episode, and it really built up a lot more hype and conversation about the series than it ever would have if it was all released together. So I think Rebel Moon should adopt that release plan too. Let's say Part 1 was released at the beginning of November 2023, I think Part 2 could be released from December 2023 to February 2024, giving 1, 2, or 3 months for audiences and fans to watch Part 1 and to create theories as to what will happen in the sequel. As I'm assuming Part 1 will end on a cliffhanger, like Infinity War did and what Justice League 2 was going to do. And Part 2 is going to end that storyline in a big epic finale. But unlike Endgame, it will be the beginning of this cinematic universe, and will set up a lot of exciting stories for the Rebel Moon universe. I honestly believe this will be Snyder's best work to date. He has full creative freedom kingdom with a completely planned out storyline already that will be very mythological, and he's not only the director, but also the cinematographer, and so I think at the bare minimum, it will be visually the best sci-fi movie to date. I believe Rebel Moon is something that all sci-fi fans should be excited for, and hopefully in the new year, we could get a trailer, or at the very least, a new poster. But make sure to let me know what your expectations of Rebel Moon are in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!